All right, what's going on, y'all? So I'm Cameron Mitchell. For the ones who don't know, I am 23 and I am from Dallas, Texas. And here are a few things that I learned from saving my first 8K. Life is going to attack your goal. If you have a goal of 5K, 10K, 15K, whatever it is, even if you're just trying to reach your first $1,000, like, life is going to come at you with everything it has and knock you away from your goal. You may have family issues where you got to help with medical bills or help somebody else with rent or just their expenses, not including just yourself. You have car repair issues coming up, or things that you have to plan for ahead of time that's making it harder for you to stack your money. Now, with me being 23, I don't have any children. So that's a blessing. From my perspective, if you have children, you can still stack your money too, but it just may take a bit longer because, of course, you do have mouths to feed. And depending on what their age is, you may have to buy diapers or, back to school, clothes and, things like that. It's a lot of stuff that come with taking care of children, but that's besides the point. Something that I learned is like learning to go without. You have to make sacrifices when it comes to stacking your money because you may get a certain amount of money and feel like, okay, now I can go spend. I've always wanted this since I was a younger adult, a kid, or I've been had aspirations of getting this scat pack, but you got to realize that you can go without. There's weekends where you can stay inside and, read a book or learn about financial literacy rather than, going outside and trying to go to a club or trying to, go downtown and see what the vibes are like. Because once you start getting in the habit of, learning how to go without, you'll realize like, damn, I really didn't need those shoes. I really didn't need those clothes. I really didn't need that car, right? And of course, there are some times where you may have to invest, and this is where I consider investing. You may have to invest in getting nice clothes for maybe an interview or maybe a certain business meeting or something like that, or just, having clothes in general to step out from time to time and be human. But for the most part, when you're stacking, you got to be so focused to where it's like, it doesn't matter what shoes come out. It doesn't matter what clothes you see that's on sale. Like, you have to keep the main goal of stacking your money the main goal. Everything else comes afterwards, and you'll still have to learn how to track your expenses. And that's another thing, tracking your expenses, not weekly, not monthly, daily. You have to track your expenses daily. And from experience, when I was a bit younger, like, I used to be afraid of opening my bank account because I know I spend so much money that if I open it, it's going to be empty, and that caused anxiety. So now you have to track your expenses daily, because if you don't, you'll quickly realize like the money that you thought you had is gone. Another point, what I learned from saving 8K, please do not, if you haven't already, please don't finance a vehicle, because that's paying 3 bills at once. You're paying full coverage insurance, you're paying for a note, and you're paying gas just to get to and from work. So please, if you're young, I'm not going to even say if you're young, if you're not financing a vehicle, please do not finance a vehicle right now while you're stacking, because that extra $400 or $500 a month could be saved towards getting to your first 5K, your first 8K, or first 10K, or even 20K if you already surpassed that. But I know a lot of you who may be watching right now, not in the position where we want to be, and that's okay. But that's why, you can learn from my mistakes, because I did finance a vehicle at one point, and I remember I was spending $1,000 just to get to work, literally just to get to work. I'm like, that's not including rent, that's not include anything to eat, that's not including like occasional stepping outside and just enjoying life. So please do not finance a vehicle. Stop trying to impress people. because they'll see you for like the first 30 seconds. It's like, oh, your fit fly, fam. Like, you cool. Like, damn, where you get them shoes from? And they'll do that for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And then that's it. So don't chase validation. Like, okay, you may have on like some basketball shorts and a t-shirt, but you know you got this money. You got a cushion behind you. So you're not worried about how you look right now. You know, of course, definitely don't let yourself like stink or anything like that. Make sure you have your necessities, but as far as like getting super fly, getting super fresh and trying to impress everybody, stop that. And that's what I had to learn. Like, of course, you know, there's times where you want to look nice, but you, like I said, have to learn with going without for a season, for a period of time, so you can put yourself in position to where you don't have to worry about how much money you're spending on clothes because you have so much coming in. So I'm still trying to hit my first 10K. I wish that somebody would have told me to track my expenses daily. Like, get you a spreadsheet. That's what I say. Get you a spreadsheet. Track your income. Track how much is coming in. Track how much is coming out. Down to every expense. Whether it's a Apple Music subscription, whether it's a Netflix subscription, whether it's a DoorDash subscription. Like, sometimes you got to cut back on all of that, because even DoorDashing and Netflix and stuff like that, that's taken away from, one, if you're DoorDashing all the time, you're spending unnecessary money, and then two, like, if you got a Netflix subscription and all you're doing is watching TV all day, like, that time could be used to educate yourself on how to make more money, or just learn how to budget, period. So you know, it's a lot of things you're gonna have to say no to. You have to learn how to say no. You know, I recently just had some friends, they had released some shorts for their clothing brand, and initially I was gonna buy the shorts, but after looking at my expenses, you know, I had to be a grown man and just tell them up front, like, hey, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could, but, you know, I'm trying to reach this goal first.